Hey there, Goobers, this is Ryan with The Biggest Goober coming at you with episode 3 of 10 Thoughts of the Day. And this one's all about doctors. So I'm up here drinking tea and watching the sunrise, and I thought I'd go ahead and record my 10 Thoughts of the Day for you guys. This time I have a theory, a thought, and a story. First of all, the theory. I'm ripping this right out of my 10 Thoughts of the Day blog from April 5th back in 2010. Eye exams are kind of obnoxious, especially when they puff your eye with that little machine. You know, the thing where they're like, put your chin on the bar, and then you have to smash your face into it and try to keep your eye open while they adjust the little nozzle a millimeter away from your face, and then they hit it with a backblast of like an F-16? What's that all about? You actually think that helps them at all or gives them any information? No! They totally made that thing up as a joke. Actually, if you look up into the corner, there's a little camera there like recording you as they puff you. Not only does this provide hours of entertainment in the break room, but they can also enter these into competitions. There's bonus points for them too if you like yell, knock over the chair, or hurt yourself in any way. The winning video clips are then played at the National Optical Festival held in Milwaukee every October. For the winning clips, there's worldwide fame and cash prizes. They then go on to write articles for magazines for like the best methods for the biggest flinch. And they talk about ideas such as saying, oh wait, let me get that paperwork right before they pull the puff trigger. Don't believe me? Go ahead and study optometry for 6 years. Yeah, you'll see. Somebody brought up to me this week the fact that you don't seem to notice a problem until a doctor says that there's a problem, which is an interesting example of psychological suggestion. So you're at the doctor's office and he's like, do you experience exhaustion late at night after working for long periods of time? Yeah. Do your feet and legs feel tingly after sitting Indian style for more than 20 minutes? Yeah. Does your throat feel sore right now? Uh-huh. And do you have a slight temperature right now? Yeah. So you end up walking out of the doctor's office like clinging on to every breath that you have because you know that any breath could be your last. And you're like, don't like breathe on me, man. Like, don't touch me. Like, I could just go up to heaven any second right now. This is like diagnosing yourself on WebMD. My word, doctors must hate WebMD. So you input all of your subjective, like, vague symptoms, which usually fall in the realm of, hey, I'm no longer 16 in perfect health, and the internet tells you all the things that are wrong with you. Being human, we like to assume the worst. No, John boy, I can't go to the movies, man. I just found out I have malaria, typhoid, a tapeworm, and I think both my legs are broken, man. I think whoever invented WebMD should be taken out in the street and shot. Or we could just let him die of all the diseases that he's diagnosed himself with. And now for my story. So back in the day, say 4 years ago, I got a hernia. And I got a hernia by pushing a house. So I used to work on a stage crew where we used to build sets for plays, and one of the things was this giant house. So I was pushing this giant house and I got a hernia, which required surgery. So because my mommy wasn't here to take care of me, she found one of her friends to take me to the hospital. Show up to the hospital, get all signed in, they take me back, start like doing all the pre-op stuff. I'm gonna skip the really funny part about the black man and the coconut oil, because that doesn't really matter. Last thing I remember is they're like wheeling me in and I'm talking to the anesthesiologist, but what she didn't tell me is that she'd already started the drugs. The last thing I remember was getting wheeled in there and noticing that the lights that they had in the operating room were the ones they have on ER. I was like, oh, that's cool, it's the same lights. They didn't even let me count backwards from 100. I wanted to count backwards from 100. I wanted to be like Bill Cosby's dad. 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, now what would you like for me to do? So apparently the surgery went fine. I wake up and I'm just laying there. There's nobody around me. And I remember laying there with my eyes half open thinking, I wonder how long it's gonna be before somebody notices that I'm awake. And then I think I fell back asleep again. The plan was for me to go to my friend's house. I was living in a bachelor's pad under the stairs, think kind of like Harry Potter-esque, just on a mattress, except maybe a little less high class. But I remember getting in the van and I was still under the influence of the drugs, and I just remember asking this lady, can I go stay at your house? Which of course she said yes. So I wake up like 4 hours later in this huge bed in this giant white room with this little ceiling fan. That's pretty much perfection in my mind. So by the next day, the drugs had finally worn off and I realized, hey, I probably shouldn't have just asked to stay at this lady's house for like a week. So I go back to my friend's house to stay. My friend kindly offered me his room, which was basically just a bare room with one bed with a mattress on it and some Kenyan flag or something hanging on the wall, and a fan. I then proceed to fall asleep with nobody in the house for the next like 8 hours. Right in the middle of May, I wake up drenched with sweat as my brother bursts in the door. "What's going on?" And I'm like, what in the world is going on? I look at my phone and there's like 75 million missed calls from all my various family members asking where in the world I am, because they thought I was still at this lady's house. So my mom, being the very nice lady that she was, convinced my brother to go check on me and then had me dragged back to her friend's house for the remainder of the week. That week was awesome because I A, recovered, B, found out how awful it is to laugh when you have stitches in your stomach. Yeah, I tried watching Steve Carell and Get Smart. That didn't work. And I'm extremely thankful for that lady for caring for me for a whole week. For next week, I'd like your help with a small social experiment that I'm conducting. I tried this a couple years back on an extremely small scale and it worked out pretty well. Here's what I'd like for you guys to do. I would like you to submit your drawings of the girl pushes the boy. So whatever comes to mind when you hear that, the girl pushes the boy. I'd like you to draw that out and get your iPhone, get your camera, whatever, take a picture and email it to me at thebiggestgoober.com. There's a link for that below. Have your friends do this too, because the more drawings I get, the better. Two things. First of all, this doesn't have to be fancy. I don't care that you can't draw at all. This is fine with stick figures or whatever. I'm not going to make fun of you if you can't draw. No, I might. But I also want you guys to get creative with this. If there's some super cool drawings that start coming in that I consider non-traditional or just creative, I might start handing out Starbucks gift cards. Secondly, don't ask me questions about this. Because it's a social experiment, those are the only instructions you get. The girl pushes the boy. Don't be like texting me and emailing me and whatever, being like, I didn't understand what you meant when you said no. Those are the only instructions you get. So draw that out, get it sent in to me. I'm really looking forward to the experiment. I know it's going to work out awesome. With The Biggest Goober, I'm Ryan.
Yeah?
Want me to do it again?
Probably.
Did you see the Mets baseball players? Did you see Dykstra? See what kind of hair he got? Not like yours.
Yeah, I always watch the Mets on Channel 9.
Yeah, they're better than the Phillies, aren't they?
Yeah.